Thank you. Consuelo Ricketts Campbell, or is it Campbell Ricketts?
Campbell Ricketts.
Okay. So we're pleased to have Consuelo on our first True Blue Lounge interview. So my first question for you is, what is your drink of choice? And that can be alcoholic or aerated water.
No, well, I don't drink carbonated drinks. My go-to drink is blended fruit punch.
Okay. Do you
Yes,
blend it
but
yourself?
if it's alcoholic, I like wine or, well, ginger wine, Stone's ginger wine. I love that.
Real Jamaican drink that is. Okay,
Or
cool.
the D&G beer, like the lemon.
Nice, nice.
But
And what about your favorite meal? What is your go-to meal? If you go to a restaurant, what do you order first all the time?
sweet and sour chicken. But, I hear that it's not really Chinese. Well, Chinese do it, but it's not really a Chinese dish.
Right.
But everyone know me that I love sweet and sour chicken.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so I have a nice question for you. So, Consuelo, could you give me kind of like an elevator pitch from when you left Mannings school to where you are now? How did you get there? So just, a nice little, so if you had to give someone a 30-second, no, not, let's say a minute elevator pitch, how do you get to where you are now and where are you?
With my life, it's hard to do it in such a short time, but let me try. So from Mannings, I went to, well, I was having some problems towards the last of Mannings. So, including migraine headache. So, and I just wanted to get out of Westmoreland. So I went to Spanish Town to live with my brother and his wife. And from there to Durham College, did accounting. Then I went to Wisynco. They sent me to Duff's Business College, secretarial. And I remember my first job was an accounting job, but I stayed there for a short period of time because I heard the boss, so to speak. He was always cursing the staff, some of the staff, and his wife. Bad words, expletives. And I didn't like it. So I left because I did not want him to tell me any. So when I did not go back, my family was appalled that you left a job because you did not want the person to curse you. The person never cursed you yet. But I couldn't deal with it. From there, accounting job, secretarial, then to Montego. Right, I was sent to be manager for furniture store. So I was in business, worked there for 11 years and got fed up because I had started my family and I didn't want to work 6 days. So I prayed for God to take me out and find a job with children. And that's how I came into teaching. And I went to Samshar, taught at a church school, and then I opened my school. So
Cool.
that's short enough.
So, what job did you enjoy doing the most in your early days and why?
Being manager at the furniture store. Well, what I'm doing now is what I love the most. But before this, the manager of the furniture store, because I met a lot of people and I love dealing with people. And that's where I met my husband.
Lucky you. So, what job didn't you like and why?
The accounting job, it was real boring. Numbers. Well, I was good at it though, because anything I do, I try to be the best at what I do. I remember when I was doing accounts, the teacher had to take home my work when I make a mistake. Like, with accounts, yeah, sometimes $2 out or 2 cents. Right. But the accounting was real boring. I don't think I could deal with it. I like it, could do it well, but I prefer dealing with people.
So, Consuelo, how did you get the name Consuelo? Because it doesn't sound very Jamaican. It's not like Shelly Ann or
Oh
Elaine.
no, oh no, it's special.
Okay.
So my mother was reading a book when she was pregnant with me,
Mhm.
and she saw the name Consuelo O'Brien. So she gave me that name, Consuelo O'Brien Campbell. But O'Brien was the girl's surname, right? But she didn't know it was actually, here's a little thing. We did not know the proper pronunciation until when just before Mannings.
Okay.
We used to say Consuelo, but a gentleman, another teacher that knew it, told us that it was Consuelo. Right. So that's how I got it, and I love it, and it means comfort.
No, that's nice. And and I will say this, Consuelo, there's a lot of people running around pronouncing their names incorrectly because of the way their parents were calling them from in the
That's
60s.
oh,
So,
that's true.
what are your hobbies? And how often do you get to indulge in them, whatever they are?
Think reading. I don't get to do it much now. What I have to revert to is watching a movie now and again. But I love reading.
Nice, nice. I wish I could read. No, joking. My next question for you is: are you religious, and how much does your religion, stroke faith, help you in your life?
Yes, I'm religious, and it has helped me 100%. And I get answers. I'm not a person that only believe in God. God work for me,
Mhm.
right? I ask him questions. He tell me no sometimes, tell me wait, and sometimes he gives me things even when I don't ask for them. I don't need them, but he gives me things. So 100%.
That's nice. That's
Yes.
nice. So, describe a really high point in your life when you felt the best. A real high point.
When I had my first child,
Nice, nice. Describe a low point you've had and how you overcame it.
low point. I think at one point we lost everything in business
Hmm.
because of a gentleman in Miami. My husband used to buy and sell cars, and he ran off with cars and money.
Hmm.
By the time my husband reached Miami,
Hmm.
people took what they must take, and that was it. That was low. We lost everything really and
Hmm.
had to build back.
And how did you overcome it? So you said you built back. I want to.
Yeah,
How did you overcome it?
well, prior, because I had to believe, we had to believe that we are going to, because when you're down to zero and owe people money, that seems like you'll never get back on track.
That
And
must be.
I remember that a lady in Sav, she used to go to the Holiness Born Again Church. My brother, when I was crying, the time my brother drove from Sav, and I went in his vehicle and he called the lady, and the lady prayed for me.
Mhm.
That was the first time. That time I wasn't a Christian. I was Christian minded, but I wasn't baptized then. And that
Right.
was the first time I knew you could feel God's spirit through her praying for me through the phone. And she told me that God is going to build us up back, and give us back everything that we have lost. And it did happen.
I have a lovely question for you. So, my question to you now is: what have you learned most about yourself as you mature?
Well, I don't know. I'm still uh, well. The I used to I used to have an anger issue, but I learned to
Oh,
at that
really?
time.
You?
Yes, but at that time, people wouldn't know because I was shy. I hardly talk.
Uh-huh.
But if you get me out, I'm telling you, it wasn't a pretty sight. I would throw everything at you.
Wow.
I would, yeah, I would just throw stuff, right? But I've learned to keep that down, and I'm still not too tolerant of folly, I call it, but I'm working on that.
Okay. Hey, we all have something we need to work on or things, you know. So what would you say you were very passionate about?
Children, take it,
All children or your children
being
or
being all children, being advocate for children.
uh-huh.
Well, in my family, they know that I'm my children's lawyer when
Hmm.
it come on to them and daddy. So I prefer to discipline them.
Hmm.
When daddy is doing it, I keep my ears close, especially if I hear his voice raise,
Hmm.
because I'm ready to defend the children. I remember the only son I used to beat, and not very often, was Kamer. That's the first one. He was a troublemaker like Roger. Anyway, a troublemaker. Did I
When you
say
say beat,
the-
can you clarify when you say beat, clarify what you mean by beat?
with a belt?
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, but he was a real troublemaker. Not a lot of beat he got. The other two didn't. Right. But I used to use the softest belt I can find because it was mainly just, kind of a show. So if daddy ever catch a belt, no, I'm going there because I know men strength, and
Hmm.
if he's going to use his thick belt, no, no, no. So
Wow, wow. Poor old Kamir. On a more serious note, Consuelo, you did say you're a lady of faith. When we expire from this world, you know, I'd like to find out from your vantage point, what do you think happens to us when we expire?
well, from the Bible, it says your spirit goes to God, the body is left behind to rot, right? And I believe that. So,
Okay, so things like death and losing loved ones is something that you have. It's something you've come to terms with in your mind.
but yes, right. And then I'm getting ready. Just the other day I was talking to Camera about my final arrangements, and I tell him the color theme that I want, and so on and so forth.
Wow. Do you find that heavy when you speak to your kids about that? Do you find that heavy for them, a heavy burden to
Um,
put on them?
well, I cannot speak to the other two about it. I can speak to Kamir now about it because he has matured, but I can't, especially my son in Canada.
Hmm.
He used to cry. He used to cry. He just think about it.
Right.
I will see him crying and I ask him what is wrong with him. He doesn't want me to die.
Amazing, amazing. You know, but I suppose it's so common that we as individuals, it's something that we don't we put at the back of our mind and we try to not think about it. You know. So when you think of the future, are you hopeful? And if you're hopeful, why are you hopeful? And if you're not hopeful, you tell me either way. What do you think?
Of course, I know I am always hopeful. I never expect anything negative, but if negative come, I know we will get over it, and I know that when I am to go, I will be okay with going at that time. But I'm hopeful. For example, right now my daughter will be leaving, so it will
Mhm.
only be both of us. I see it as an opportunity to do some things I didn't get to do, or
Mhm.
yeah, over the years.
Mhm.
Now I want to travel. Well, my husband always say sending them all over the place so I can get to go where they are.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, but yes, I see good things.
How do you keep yourself in good spirits and very positive now?
have a husband that makes me laugh. Also, I love to bother him, so I get a lot of laughs from him. For example, if we are sleeping and he gets up to go to the bathroom, and sometimes I will have a basin in the, for example, laundry, but it's my clothes. I have to put them away, and I put it down, and then I hear him knock up in it, and I would start laughing in the bed, and he would say, "I put that for him." Or when he will come and fluff his pillow, and then by the time he's to lie down, I pull it, and then he just drop on the bed, right? So, and
So
I
you
get
know
a
that
whole,
that friendly banter in relationships is always, it's very healthy, you know.
that's it.
Um, did you have a high school crush?
There was somebody I liked, but guess what? No one knew. Well, I think Harley knew, but guess what? The person, I don't even know the person's name. It was when I was in fifth form, and he came into sixth form. So it was a situation that I would look at him. When he sees me looking, I would look away, and he would look at me. And when I see him, he would look away. So, that was,
So
that was,
he didn't know.
well, we used to look at each other. That's the only thing.
You'd have to be clairvoyant to know that you liked him. As women. So let me ask you this much, Consuela. So looking back at life's journey, how would you say, is there anything you would do differently?
Um, Friendly, let me see. I would, oh, yes, yes. I would not do the subjects I did at Mannings. I would do a different set of subjects.
Can you elaborate on
Yes,
that just for me? When someone
yes,
says
I,
subjects,
I would love to.
go ahead.
Okay, for example, my family wanted, well, when I remembered when I was in primary school too, first, she was a teacher. Well, she recently retired. Her lesson plans. But then I say I could never teach because I remember you boys how you give trouble, and I said no, I couldn't teach these students. So I didn't think about it much, but I admired her teaching. But then everybody, because I love to take care of children, younger children, everybody thought I would be a good nurse. Boy, were they wrong. I cannot stand the sight of blood. If you tell me about a cut that you get, I feel every pain. I'm
Right.
telling you, even now, everybody at school know, don't show Miss Ricketts the cut, don't show Miss Ricketts the cut. So I did bio. And then, but I think Mannings, the culture at Mannings caused it. Because you see, when I went to Kingston, the subjects that people look down at on and at Mannings, those are the subjects I excelled in. So business subjects, those are the ones I was typing. I can close my eyes and type. And I love that. It has helped a lot. So that's it. That's what I would
So
do
what's really
differently.
nice, what's really nice about that is that because it's been your journey, you actually know that there are subjects that you could have excelled in if you had the opportunity to, and it took you coming out of an environment. And you can advise the kids now that, things like typing, who would have known that everybody was going to have a keyboard in front of them? You know, we thought it was just secretaries that type. No one knew we all had to type. How would you, and this is a controversial subject because it's a controversial subject for me because I feel that Mannings was a very small time in our lives. But I'd like to ask you, how did you feel that attending Mannings High School um, shaped you as an individual and how you've become?
Well, the values, the discipline. Yes, I remembered when if you had to be out of your uniform at a certain time. In the evenings, if you wanted to go back on the road for anything, you better go home, change, and get back. Mr. Nita was like that. I love that. When I see the students now sitting at the corner, I say, my goodness, in the until night, sitting and chatting before looking. No, we would never do that. We have to head home,
Yes,
especially the girls. You're right. We
Yeah.
have to, but yes, discipline, moral values, and so on. Yes.
Hey, well, I've exhausted my questions for you, Consuelo. Have you got anything you'd like to ask me before we wrap this up?
How was your time at Mannings? Did you enjoy being at Mannings?
So it was a bit of a culture shock. I was in Mannings first, second, third form, and for about 3 or 4 weeks of fourth form. It was a bit of a culture shock for me. I enjoyed it. Being in Mannings and probably having ADHD, I was very, very competitive in the little two subjects that I felt I excelled in, which was kind of like maths and physics. And that kind of shaped me. But when Mannings had a habit of, putting everybody's name, when you've done a test, there'd be a name from top to bottom, the bright people at the top, and the bottom, and the people that had challenge
Yes,
at the
yes.
bottom. I don't know how I felt about that, but I knew that in a lot of the artsy subjects, the history, the literatures, the language, Spanish, I was always going to be at the bottom. But I made sure that when it came to the science subjects, especially the ones I liked, physics and maths, I was
Yes.
going to excel in them. So I knew I was going to be in the top 10 or in that quadrant. And if anybody wants to argue the point, I'd love them to come on this podcast to argue. But that was it. Oh, and there was a little bit of, I felt there was a little bit of classism in Mannings. So that kind of hurt a little bit. But I think it was positive because once you realize that everything isn't fair, it helps you to go through life not expecting everyone to be nice to you and kind to you. So it makes you step over the cracks in life to get get to what you want to. So that's it.
Right.
Cool. Consuelo, I really appreciate you taking the time out from your busy day to chat with me. And there's lots more I want to talk to you about, and we're going to do that also. So, with that, I want to thank you once again for spending the time and chatting with me. Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining our first TBL True Blue Lounge podcast. We wish to have many, many more. Our next guest will be Dwight Gabby Coote. Look out for that, and we'll send you a link. Thank you very much. Take care.